She's alive! She's alive! And she'll love you long time. We watched Frankenhooker. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Lord Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, my co-host, my buddy, my best friend, my brother from another mother, which I haven't said that in a while.
No.
But Mr. Aaron.
Weird. Kind of liked it.
Try to be a little more.
Yeah. I mean, Nachos McWerewolf has his own fucking theme song. He's not even on it. He's on a different podcast. The Here Comes the Spooky podcast with Cincinnati Jeff. Check him out. It's a great podcast.
Well, if I could find a song that incorporates, I don't know, Southworth in it. Or...
How about just Macho Man? Just play that. Just play Macho. Yeah, just play that. Duh. It's kind of a gay icon song, but you know.
Oh yeah!
Hey,
there you go. I give you that.
There
That's
you go.
Closing to Macho Man I got loaded up right now.
Perfect. I'll take it.
Anyway, this week, before we got some stuff to cover, got some stuff to talk about before we get to the movie. But so yeah, you know what? Forget it. We'll just dive right into that. Let's just cover up. We are in the middle of our March Madness Horrible Horrors movie.
You already fucked it
I
up.
already fucked that one up.
I love it. I love it. You know what? You've been doing
shit.
so good with it lately. I was just like, oh man, I guess he's finally got to polish it off. Nope. Man, that just brings a smile to my face. Okay, try it again, baby.
Our Horrible Horror March Movie Madness Tournament of Awfulness.
And you didn't have to close your eyes this time.
Or count on my fingers.
You did have a rhythm going. You were bobbing your head to it, though.
Yeah, I did. So we just finished up our round of Shitty 16, round 2. We got Aaron going to give us the results of that from our Instagram page, and I'm hoping the participation was still high.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I mean, we're getting, it's again, more votes than we've ever had before.
That's awesome. Love to hear it. All right, so let's rip through this really quickly. So first matchup in the Shitty 16 on the Crystal Lake bracket, we have our number 1 seed, Blackenstein, taking on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which I find ironic that Halloween 2 is on the Crystal Lake bracket instead of the Haddonfield bracket. But anyway, this one could be a bracket buster, I think. But at the same time, I won't be surprised. So Aaron, hit me with it. What are our results of the first matchup? Who's moving on?
Moving on is Halloween 2.
Oh!
With 74% of the vote.
Jesus. That was a schlocking.
Pretty dominant performance.
See, I get it because Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 does suck, and a lot of people hate that movie.
Right, and we talked about how Blackenstein kind of has like cult classic status. You know, everyone knows it's such a bad movie, but that's part of the charm of it.
So bad.
On every level of movie making, it's bad.
Yeah, it fails horribly.
The only thing I think it doesn't do, and I could be wrong, is show the boom mic. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason that, and maybe the fact that just not enough people have actually seen it, as a casual fan. Of
I mean, if I never saw Blackenstein, but I saw Halloween 2, and you said which one's worse, I'd be like, Halloween 2.
Yes, I think it's a little bit of that.
There's probably a lot to it because Blackenstein it's just such a cool name for a movie.
Yeah. But goddamn, our so there's it is our first
major upset.
Yeah, our first round bye, our number 1 seed gets taken out in its first matchup. God damn.
We read the tea leaves wrong on that one.
We did. So Halloween 2, moving on. So, all right, next up in the Crystal Lake, we have Sister Vampires versus Killer Unicorn.
This one a little closer, but not really.
All right.
Killer Unicorn moving on with
Really?
67% of the vote.
That's really surprising for me.
I think it just kind of comes down to what people have seen, and I think more people have seen Killer Unicorn. I think it's actually got a decent following. You know?
I am kind of surprised by that because the plot, again, if we just look at just movie making and all that, I would say Sister Vampires is the worst movie of the two.
Yeah.
Just technically and everything, all aspects.
Killer Unicorn wasn't a bad movie.
It had its moments.
It
but
did. Yeah. I mean, let me rephrase that. It wasn't a badly made or poorly made movie.
Right.
You know,
it definitely looked much better.
Yes, it was much cleaner, and it had, it had its thing going for it. But you know what I think about, man? This is also a visual format with Instagram, and I will say the Sister Vampires cover or the picture is fucking dope. It's really good. It's like the sexy gal pose with blood behind her. She's got fangs, and just like, yeah.
People are just picking on the cover art.
Maybe.
That is not what the criteria for it is. Not based on cover art, people. If that is your voting strategy.
Same with Blackenstein. I mean, her titties are just about hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on. Next matchup, we have Hellbound Hellraiser 2. Oh, this is the battle of the franchises. Hellbound Hellraiser 2 taking on Leprechaun 4 in space. I'm very curious about this one, but I think I know where it's going. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Aaron, who's moving on?
It's kind of interesting because this is almost like last week's matchup with Hellbound Hellraiser 2 was with Bride of Chucky.
Yes.
And, that's a silly slapsticky movie against, a more serious
We
horror
got the
film.
same thing again.
And we got the same thing with Leprechaun 4, but this time the tables have turned. Leprechaun 4 destroyed Hellraiser 2, 84% to 16%.
Wow. That's kind of where I thought. I figured Leprechaun 4 was going to take this one. I thought that. And lastly, we have, closing out this side of the bracket, we'll have our other first round bye movie. We have Night Before Easter taking on Float Trip.
And Night Before Easter is moving on with 75% of the vote.
Wow. Night Before Easter is moving on. Okay. Excuse me, guys. All right. So that's a solid. I can buy that. I totally buy that.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a bad movie, dude.
It is so bad.
I mean, I didn't
that's why I got a first round bye. I mean,
I didn't like Float Trip either. I didn't like either one of those movies,
Yeah.
but I would watch Float Trip 20 times before I watch
Night Before Easter.
Yeah.
I agree 100% on that. All right, let's move over to Haddonfield bracket. So we have our first round bye, our number one seed, who I think now might be the favorite, could be the favorite to win this with Blackenstein being out. But we have Don't Go in the Woods taking on Bloody New Year. Where are we going here, Aaron?
Pretty close.
Oh, shit. Do we have
Pretty
another
close.
upset? Do we have another number one seed upset here?
We do not. We have 59% of the vote went to Don't Go in the Woods.
59. God damn, that is close. Don't Go in the Woods.
41% went to Bloody New Year.
Okay, Don't Go in the Woods. It moves on. Rightfully so. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Bloody New Year is terrible, but god damn, it's such a fun,
in
crazy
a
ride.
fun, crazy
It's
way.
insanely fun. All right, next up, we have House of the Dead taking on Black Christmas 2019.
Gotta say, I was actually surprised by this one.
Oh, really? What we got?
Black Christmas is moving on with 71% of the vote.
That movie sucks. It's a bad remake, but honestly, I think
House of the Dead is a piece of shit.
I hate to say it, but Black Christmas is probably technically a better movie overall than House of the Dead, but it does suck because it kills it until it gets away from the franchise. And I think again we have a lot of the bitterness like we did with Halloween 2 taking place in this as well, kind of the fan base. But hey, people have spoken. So Black Christmas 2019, moving on.
Cincinnati Jeff might be right. He might call it. This is a sleeper. It could go all the way.
It's moved on. Yes. How many of those votes are from? Is this the one? Did he just like dump a bunch of votes in at one time?
You can only vote once.
All right. Next up, we have Aqua Slash taking on Blood Harvest. This is an interesting one. I have no dog in this. I have no idea which way this can go.
Well, it's the love for Tiny Tim is there because Aqua Slash is moving on with 77% of the vote. That's a lot.
That is a lot. That's a big beat.
Yeah.
Aqua Slash moving on. Okay.
That movie fucking sucks.
It does suck.
God damn it.
And last in Haddonfield, we have Battle of our Indies. Actually, this is like Battle of like the same director, I think.
I think you're right.
Same people. We have Teacher Shortage going up against Party Night 2.
That's hilarious. It's the same guy, isn't it?
I think
it is.
It's the same actors a lot because we talk about it's the same universe because the redheaded guy
yes.
that's in Party Night is in the yearbook from Teacher Shortage.
Yes, that's cool.
This is like this universe. So I think it is the same guy, same director. He's got 2 movies going head to head.
Well, the people are pretty split on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, very, very split. This is the closest one we've got. 55% to Party Night.
Party Night's going on.
Moving on, and 45% to Teacher Shortage. I think it was just like 1 or 2 votes. It was really close the whole time.
I'm kind of I'm even though we gave Party Night the first round bye because that was your pick. That was your first round bye pick. I kind of think Teacher Shortage is the worst movie between the two, but. That's that's why I'm not voting and leave it up to the people.
I disagree. I like Teacher Shortage way more than Party Night.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way more.
All right.
Yeah.
It has been a while since I've seen Party Night, so
good. You don't need to.
Teacher Shortage is more fresh in my brain.
Party Night, it cock teases you with prom, and then the picture's got beer pong on it, and so you think it's gonna be more
movie that has no
prom.
in it.
Yeah, and it's like it's just them in the woods being killer. It's come on.
All right. So that's it. That takes care of our She 16. That means it brings us to our epically awful 8 next round. So let's refresh what we got going up. Because you can keep an eye out for the votes coming up probably Monday, which would be the day, or by the time you're hearing listening to this, you can already start voting. So Crystal Lakeside, we will have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 going up against Killer Unicorn. Then we have Leprechaun 4 in Space taking on Night Before Easter. That closes out Crystal Lake. In Hanfield, we will have our number 1 seed, Don't Go in the Woods, taking on Black Christmas 2019. That could be a bloodbath. God damn, that's a matchup for the ages.
Yeah.
Then we'll have Aqua Slash going up against Party Night. I'm a bet man. I'm going to bet on Party Night.
Yeah.
I think, but Aqua Slash could be dark horse could be an upset there. This is an exciting bracket. This is going to be interesting.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, we still have one number 1 seed still in play. We have 2 number 2 seeds still in play. So it could be interesting. We could have Night Before Easter making it to the final 4 along with Party Night and Don't Go in the Woods, which would be our 3 of our 4 movies we gave a first round bye to making it to the final 4. If it happens that way.
Right.
This is exciting. So look out for the new votes. They'll be coming soon, and we'll have the results next time. So with that said, let's move on to one more thing we got to get through because you guys know by now.
You do know by now.
You know by now what's coming. You know it.
You love it.
You love it. So let's just get to it.
Everybody's got a price.
I do have a price.
Yes, we do.
And the price is right because it's 20% off, bitches. That's the price, 20% off of Manscaped.com because we are sponsored by Manscaped.com where you can get 20% off your order if you go to Manscaped.com, enter the promo code MOONGOON, MOONGOON for 20% off, free shipping, and it's international. And what can you get there, Marshall?
Wow. Well, you can get right now what I would recommend would be get your hands on the brand new Ultra Premium collection.
Ultra Premium
collection.
Not just premium, ultra premium.
Goddamn right, it's ultra.
Extra layer of lotion on top.
That is for all your hygienic needs in the bathroom, in the shower. It comes with the Manscaped Premium deodorant, not for your balls, but for your stinky armpits. It's aluminum free, smells like their signature manly scent. You also get the hydrating body moisturizer. So if you're a tattoo guy, you got issues with dry skin, this will keep all that nice and moist and, and smooth.
Nice and moist.
Keep you all smooth. Keep that skin hydrated. Then you can also get the body wash to lather up your stinky ass, dirty self. Infused with aloe vera and sea salt. It's a really nice shower gel. Then you get the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Clean that scalp of yours. 2 things, 1 bottle. You're good to go. Can't beat that.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And you get the free gift, which is not a 1, not 2, but a 3-pack of the Manscaped lip balm to keep those kissers, those choppers of yours nice and moist.
Yeah,
you don't
dude.
want to be kissing old chapped lips.
I mean, I used it today. I mean, I'm not bullshitting. I used the 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and the body wash, and I love it. That's like my number 1 like combo. It's like I've always been just kind of like grab whatever the fuck's at Walmart or Target, right, and just and you know what, man, it's kind of like I smell like fucking chemicals, you know. But now it's like it's got not a musk, but it's definitely more of a manly scent. It's got a good smell to it. My wife likes it, you know, and I'm pretty excited about that. And something else my wife likes is when I use the 4.0 lawnmower.
The lawnmower 4.0.
Keep my ball hair trim. And something else I wanted to talk about was something I didn't really think about too much, but man, the convenience of the charging stations, the charging ability of them. Because I mean, I've used clippers before, but you got to plug that shit into the wall. Or I've used nose hair trimmers where you got to throw out an old battery. If the old battery, you got to leave the room. Go fuck that, man. All you got to do is just charge your shit up, and you're good to go. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I love it too.
The practicality of that is what.
And I'm pretty
really
sure one charging station takes care of both the lawnmower 4.0 and the weed whacker, I think. No? I could be wrong.
So, no.
I thought it did. Because I don't know. Anyway, I could be wrong, but I think that's
Tune in next week, so we'll have the answers for you.
We'll test it and find out. Anyway, guys, check it out. That is at manscaped.com.
But I haven't had to recharge them. The charge holds a long fucking time. I've charged them once, still working.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like I said, manscaped.com, type in promo code MoonGoon at checkout, and that's 20% off plus free shipping on your entire order. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get back to the show. All right. So, this week's movie is a little listener-suggested movie. It's been, I think, suggested a few times throughout the years. But
I think so, too.
But it's been suggested again recently
who's
by listener Paul Devos. Now, Paul... He also suggested the abomination that was The Last Slumber Party. That movie nearly gave me a brain aneurysm, so Paul's not on my good list right now. But thanks
for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. So we're doing Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker.
Aaron, this is going to be an Aaron episode because when I told him we were doing Frankenhooker, he jumped at it.
I was excited.
I want to do this. Fuck yeah. So Aaron's going to be taking over this week. Once we get through this opening shit, but he is excited, ready to go. This movie was released on June 1st of 1990, written by Robert Martin and Frank Henenlotter. Now, Robert Martin only has 2 writing credits to his name, this and Basket Case 3. It was also directed by Frank Henenlotter, who he's got 13 directing credits, including Basket Case 1, 2, and 3. Brain Damage and Bad Biology. He wrote all those as well. So this is the second time him and Robert Martin have co-wrote something as well. You can currently find this on Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, Vudu, and Sling TV if you're a slinger. It's on there. Let's talk about the cast real quick. Jeffrey, our main guy, played by James Lorenz. He's had small bit parts in RoboCop 3 and Street Trash, and he was in 14 Ghosts, which I guess is a weird sequel to 13 Ghosts.
Oh no, I had a feeling that's in our future.
Elizabeth, played by Patty Mullen, she's only got 4 credits, but we've actually seen her before on the show because she played both mother and daughter roles, Judy and Kiki LaRue in Doom Asylum.
Yes.
So that means we've now done half of her entire filmology.
I think she only did these 2, right?
She's done 4. She's got 4 movie
What
credits.
are the other? Do you know the other 2?
Now it's on my head, but I don't think they were horror movies.
Yeah, so
they
I
were
mean,
like just with some weird shit.
I've got something to say about her later. I'll talk about it later.
Then Jeffrey's mother, played by Louise Lasser. She's got 61 credits, including Woody Allen's Bananas, Requiem for a Dream, Wolves of Wall Street, Saint Elsewhere in Taxi. She was also the star and title character of a TV show in the 70s called Mary Hartman, which ran for 325 episodes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Good job.
Then we have Casey, is played by Beverly Bonner. She's got 13 credits. We last saw her playing the very same character, Casey the Hooker, in a Basket Case. She also plays Casey the Hooker in Basket Case 2 and in Basket Case 3. She plays fast food manager, which I like to think is also Casey, who just stopped turning tricks and got herself a job.
Went straight.
But this also means now that Frankenhooker takes place in the Basket Case universe, or the BCU.
The BCU, I like that.
BCU.
Well, there's definitely some similarities, especially the sultry arms.
Yeah.
Place where the hookers all stay. That looks so much like the hotel.
Maybe it is.
It's
same
so much like it. I'm wondering if it's the same location.
Hotel, yeah.
It's so close.
But the guy who runs the hotel is different.
Yes,
it's not
different.
The guy in Basket was awesome. I forget his name was, but different guy.
Yeah.
Now that would have been an awesome connection. If it was the same hotel, the same hotel runner.
That'd have been dope.
That would have been awesome. And lastly in the cast, we have Chartreuse is played by Heather Hunter, who's got 54 credits. Now, she was a very popular black porn star in the late 80s and 90s. This was her first legit role, if you want to call it that. Some of her more memorable porn movie titles include Asteroids,
Oh, God.
Chasing Pink 2, Creepshow, Hung Jury, and my personal favorite here, Coming on America. And she was also in Tupac's music video, which featured Casey and JoJo, titled How Do You Want It? That is Heather Hunter, black porn star, making an appearance in this movie as well. With that said, I'm going to turn this over to Aaron. We're going to we're going to shock this shit out of Frankenhooker here.
Really quick. I wish I would have gotten this out before we went into the Frankenhooker stuff, but I do have a shout out, a plug to give. It's for The Life and Slimes of Dookie Flyswatter and the Haunted Garage. So I was not familiar. We were approached by someone on Instagram who's doing a documentary on Dookie Flyswatter and the Haunted Garage. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I've never heard of it. And goddamn, I wish I would have been more aware of this before. It's a punk band, shock artisty, like put on a big production where they're killing people on stage with chainsaws, cutting off heads while playing music. Brinky Stevens was totally into them. A lot of other like musical acts during the time, like it inspired Guar.
It sounds like the end of Rocktober Blood.
Kind of, yeah, but like way cooler, like way more schlocky. It was, and there's a documentary that's coming out on April 4th, and I watched the trailer. Fuck yes. Dude, these guys look fucking awesome. I wish to God I would have known about them sooner. We could have talked about them before. Looks really cool. Check it out. The Life and Slimes of Dookie Flyswatter and the Haunted Garage. I love the trailer. Just the trailer by itself. So the documentary's coming out on the 4th. And apparently Dookie Flyswatter, the lead singer, like he has his hands in a lot of horror. Like he had his hands in Slimeball Bolorama, Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama. Also Chainsaw Hookers in Hollywood. Or Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Yeah,
pardon
that's been on my list, but
me.
I haven't been able to find it streaming anywhere.
Yeah, so I mean he's got his fingers on the pulse of badass, 80s horror movies, or at least badass movies. So check it out.
All right, sounds awesome. Yeah, that's actually something I might have to check out myself. All right, so that said, Aaron, let's try
it again.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Frankenhooker.
Quick, full disclosure. My daughter loves the iPad. Thinks it's the coolest thing. She can watch Daniel Tiger clips. She can play a balloon popping game, and she can also delete Papa's notes. All his fucking notes. I watched this movie 3 times.
I watched it twice.
God damn it.
So this could be a little looser. We might just end up doing more of a free-flowing talk about this.
So what I did is I just went ahead and just copy and pasted the plot summary from Wikipedia, from their Wikipedia page. So I'm full disclosure.
We could in the spirit of a Frankenstein, we could try to just piece this together ourselves. From start to finish, from memory.
I kind of like that.
And say, fuck the plot notes.
Yeah.
Let's just see what we could do here.
Yeah.
Let's piece this shit together.
Marshall, I like the way you think. You want a date?
All right.
Got any money?
Got any money?
So we open with the Trauma beginning. So
yes,
it's released by Trauma, which is pretty cool. So right off the bat, you're in good hands. But we're at we're at a desk where a young man is working on a brain with an eyeball in the middle of it.
That's my first fucking what the fuck moment. He's sitting at like a kitchen table.
Well, they're tight enough that you can't really tell, but it looks like he's alone. He's working. He's like, come on, you need to walk. Come on, track me. Hold on. He puts a scalpel into the brain, and he goes, I don't want to shock it. And he just reaches over and grabs a fucking ball peen hammer, and dink, and the eye starts moving. He's like, all right, that's great. Your eye's moving. Okay, focus on me. He's doing these experiments, and you're like, okay, well, here's our Frankenstein-esque character.
Yes, exactly.
Our Dr. Frankenstein character.
I want to know how he got an eyeball into a brain.
I don't know,
Question number one is, why is there a fucking eyeball in the brain?
And the size of the eyeball is huge.
The size of the eyeball is gigantic, which means the size of the brain is gigantic. So what the fuck did this brain come from? Because it kind of looks like Mojo Jojo's turban from Powerpuff Girls. It's so tall and rounded. It looks like Mojo Jojo's hat.
Great
with
reference.
An eyeball sticking out
Great
of it.
reference. But eventually the eyeball kind of goes brrr, and shuts down. And he's like, oh, come on. Okay, well, and he gets a tap on the shoulder. He turns around, and it's this like housewife standing there. And she's like, honey, can you pass the ketchup? And it pulls back, and he's in the kitchen in, like, suburbia, like, working on this fucking brain, and everyone's like, normal. That's totally normal.
Problem number two right there. So his fiance's mother is just like, he's doing this in the not even his house. He's somebody else's house. He's got, like, this giant contraption that's powered by a car battery on their kitchen table with a fucking brain in a jar with a giant eyeball.
And it's normal as could be.
There's, like, don't even bother. Like, don't even mention it, or you would seem off-put by it.
Totally
at
normal.
all.
Yeah, he goes. We go outside. There's a big family barbecue going on.
Yes, it's the fiance's father's birthday,
and there's a full-on, lots of guests. There's parties. There's kids running around while he's doing these crazy experiments.
Yeah,
and we meet his fiance Elizabeth,
who is wearing obviously they put her in like a full bodysuit. And then they just
padded
put it some really bad padding around her ass.
Really bad pad. Like it's so funny because some of the effects in this movie aren't that bad, but this is horrible. They're trying to make
I thought all the effects in this movie were pretty fucking bad.
They're trying to make her look fat.
Yeah.
So
but they didn't pad like her arms or her stomach.
It's just like
or
her ass,
neck, or face. It's just they gave her a big ass and some big old hips,
and that's it.
Like that's it. She's like, I'm so fat.
I know, and then, so she's talking about how she's fat, and she's tried the all liquid diet. I've tried this diet. I've tried that diet. I've tried, and her friend's talking to her. He's like, I even had Jeffrey staple my stomach closed, and she's like, what? He's like, yeah, he's a doctor. He's like, he's kind of a doctor. He went to medical school, but he was
not kicked out of 3 of them.
Yeah, and so we get the idea that he is a genius, but he's also a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. So basically, then the birthday party starts going. Jeffrey comes out, and Elizabeth gives her father his birthday present, which is a remote-controlled giant lawnmower that Jeffrey, I guess, rigged up with a remote control so he could cut the grass without actually having to walk around.
Yeah, this
mower
is from hell.
It looks more like a fucking something you see on a giant farm. Like time to go
thresher.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a fucking thresher. It's time to go, harvest the corn.
Right.
You get this thing out. This is not I got cut my suburban grass type lawnmower.
It's pretty funny. And of course she's giving the demonstration, and Jeffrey's like, hey, don't stand in front of it. You just turned it on. Don't stand in front of it. And she's like, and this is how you make it go. And she activates it, and it goes right towards her. He's like, get out of the way. She turns around. You hear her scream, and blood flies all over a garden gnome. Yep. Poor Elizabeth is dead.
She's turned to mush.
To mush.
And then basically we skip ahead we don't really know how much later. Like for all we know, it could be like 2 days. It could be a year.
Right.
We have really no idea.
No frame of reference.
There's no frame of reference.
Which is fun.
I guess sort of. Maybe. All right. Anyways, but Jeffrey is like doing. We cut to him, and he's got like this big, almost life size. Like black and gray,
I would say
anatomy drawing
exactly.
on this table. It's like it's like just a human with like just the skin. Take the skin off. It's just the muscular
system of a human being. And this is where they start rolling the opening credits.
Yes.
And the whole time he's doing these schematics, and they're actually pretty detailed. It's actually pretty impressive watching this. Like, he's drawing all these connections. He's like, oh, I'm going to run the router here.
Yeah.
I'm going to need some more copper wire, and then I need to up the amperage or up the voltage over here. He's talking to himself over and over, but he's also saying things like, I'm going to get rid of that skin tag. Oh, okay, I'm going to tighten up her ass a little bit here. You know, he's talking kind of low. He's talking to himself, so you can't hear everything he's saying, but it's just enough. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking fun. But when they pan back, dude, they have a whole schematic. Like, someone took the time to draw all these like circuitry type of like abbreviations and connections, which seem very legit. I'm pretty impressed. It was actually really neat.
It's like,
it was a cool way to open it.
It's like if you ever get your hands on like electrical, like framework wiring. It's like for like blueprints or something, like how you wire like a house or anything.
Where you're going to use a transistor, what type of wires you're going to use.
It's really that's detailed.
It's very detailed. Very like, especially for Frankenhooker. I was surprised at the level of detail.
I was too. And then at the top of it, he just took a picture of Elizabeth and he just stuck
it on the top. So he's in his own room or his own residence, and he watched. He's kind of moping, and he goes and he pulls out a tape of the news report of her death. Yeah,
which for some reason I don't understand this, because I don't know why, but he hides it
in a book,
in a Grey's Anatomy. He cuts out the pages of a Grey's Anatomy book and hides this VHS. Like, why do you need to hide that? That's so weird.
That was just kind of dumb.
It's not like it's a dirty porn or something he shouldn't have. It's like, it's a news report about his dead fiance. Like, there's no reason that needs to be hidden. Yeah. Like, there's no shame in that. Like, it's so, I found that really odd. Like, why? I don't understand why this needs to be hidden. Just have it there. There's nothing. It's not bad. It's not taboo.
It's just weird. Yeah. But he watches it, and it's kind of funny. The news reporter is like talking. She if you listen to the news report, she's like, the plump fiance, like
girthy lady.
Yeah, she keeps talking about how fat she is. Yeah. And she goes, and her personality was splattered all over the barbecue.
She's a salad now. Like, maybe Scar said, like, there's nothing left of her. She was splattered like a salad all over the place. There's no remains of the girthy Elizabeth.
I love that news report. It's so great. But during the news report, the thing we take away is that pieces are missing.
Yes, they say some of the body parts.
Because they're talking to a police chief, and he's like, she's basically a jigsaw puzzle now, and we can't find some of the pieces.
Yes.
So she basically got turned to, like, just chop to pieces, but some pieces are missing. We cut then to the mother coming into Jeffrey's room, and mother comes in and says, hey, don't be sulking, you need to find a girl. Just classic. And man, the Jersey accent is so strong. This is so strong with Jeffrey. Yeah. Oh my God, his Jersey accent is so strong. And she's like, hey, you got to find a girl. And he's like, I don't know, Ma. I just start to feel like I'm losing it. I'm losing the connection between what's moral and immoral.
Yeah, for a guy who's like incredibly well too with his mental well-being.
Yeah, but
like, this like PhD level self diagnosis.
He's so self-aware too, but he's like I'm really starting to blur the lines. I'm slipping into this dark void of what I think is madness. And his mom's like, you want a sandwich? Yeah. So I'm like, this guy is like identifying with how fucked up he is. His frame of reference is so fucked up, and he's reaching out to his mom, who has no capacity to handle this other than offer him an egg salad sandwich.
And in the fish tank behind them all is the brain with the giant eyeball just floating in this fish tank with other fish in it, by the way.
And so mom comments, look, he's doing so good.
Yeah. So this eyeball brain is now like basically a house pet.
And I do love, we didn't mention it in the kitchen scene with the eyeball brain. The people ask, what is it? And he's like, I don't know. And again, the mom asks, what is it? He's like, I'm not sure. I kind of love that. They're just like, there it is. So yeah, then mom leaves. Jeffrey then kind of like snoops around, looks back and forth. goes to his car, pulls something out of the trunk, and at first I'm thinking, oh my God, is it like a head? Is it a body part? But no, it's some piece of. He works for the electrical company. He works for the New Jersey Electrical, and he brings in like a big, like it looks like the thing that sits on top of a telephone pole, like with a porcelain casing,
he's
like transistor.
He's basically been like piece by piece stealing like electrical equipment,
and he's basically piecemealed together a Frankenstein's lab for resurrection
in his mom's garage.
In the garage, yeah. So he's got it. It looks like it's complete. He put the final piece on, and he walks over to what looks like a cooler, it's
a freezer.
Yeah,
It's
freezer.
one of those big giant
industrial.
And lift the lid open, and there's freezer,
external freezer. Yeah,
and it's filled with like this purplish
liquid,
reddish purple liquid
that's just bubbling and oogling and boogling. And
he puts on these big old black gloves, reaches in and pulls and he's talking. He's like, sorry, I'm late. I was talking to my mom. She can gab. And he pulls out
Elizabeth's head.
Elizabeth's fucking head. And he's like, all right, it's time for dinner now. And it cuts to him like in his bedroom where he's got like a full like dining room table now set
candlelit
table.
He's got a wine. He's got a nice new wine that he wants to try.
Suit and tie.
He's having dinner with her head.
And
he pours wine in her mouth and just comes out the neck stump. He's like, there you go, nice and neat. Oh yeah, it's gonna be delicious. And he starts to talk to her. He's like, I'm gonna make you a new woman. And he's showing her pictures of the bodies that she could have. You want to be a playmate? You're going to be like this. I can make you the perfect woman. I'm going to bring you back and I'm going to give you a new body. You're going to be perfect. He really, really wants to make sure that she has the perfect body.
Yes.
And he's really going over this. He's really hamming this up.
I also find it funny that he pulls her head out of a giant freezer filled with some kind of liquid,
and it was dry,
completely dry hair.
Yeah, I totally noticed that too.
The hair is completely dry. They kind of fucked that one up.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And there's a scene later on where he pulls it out. It's like you can tell it's obviously shot in reverse because as he's pulling it out, the hair just gets dry. It's just dry.
It's just completely dry. Yeah.
Well, that was pretty. I noticed that too right off the bat. I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucked up.
So anyway, he has dinner with her, and then basically ends up putting her head back in the freezer full of liquid stuff. And
he starts thinking to himself, how am I going to get a body? How am I going to get a body?
What am I going to do for parts?
Yeah.
And he comes up with an idea of... first, before he does that, he pulls out a power drill. And only in this weird troll movie, because he basically be fucking murdering himself. This was straight up suicide. But he takes the power drill. He's like, all right, I know where the spot is, and drills into the back of his own skull.
It has a name. The technique has a name.
Oh, and the whole point is I guess he's trying to trigger some part of his brain that will help him think better or something, or help him come up with ideas. So he drills into his own skull with a drill bit that's like 5 inches long.
It's called trepans. 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 And it is a technique to, just to bore into the brain. It's a safe spot that you can bore into, and it's, part of like to relieve pressure. It's not to help you inspire wisdom or get ideas, because as he's drilling, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I got a good idea. He's using this to like bring up, like to inspire his creativity.
Which his first idea is like, oh, I'll get some stewardesses. I'll dress up as a maintenance man and say the plane's got to be maintenized, and I'll get the stewardesses. And he's like, no, that's dumb. That ain't going to work. That's stupid. What am I going to do? So he drills into his head again.
He's like, okay, I got it.
By the way, he drills into his head, and when he pulls out of, there is no blood.
No.
There is zero blood when he bores into his own skull.
No blood leaking out of him.
No, nothing. And so then he comes up there like, why are you so blatantly obvious? Why didn't you see the first place? He's like, hookers. Oh, that's where I'll get the perfect.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you needed to drill into your own head to come up with hookers? That should be the first fucking idea you should ever have. That's the fucking plain as day.
Right.
I can't. That's the most obvious. like, where do you? Who needs blind parts? Where can I get some women that nobody's gonna care about? Oh, fucking hookers. No shit, Sherlock. You shouldn't have the board to your fucking head to come up with hookers.
So he goes over to New York City to go. He goes to the red light, I guess, district of New York City at the time, and there's hookers all over the place.
Oh, it's like Hookeropolis.
Yeah, blocks and blocks of hookers. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was like back then, but boy, that looks pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
So he gets out, and one of the hookers comes up to him. I just call her head hooker. I don't remember her name. She was
I can't remember her name either.
She was the main hooker, and she's a more prominent character.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, want a date? How's it going? Hey, you got any money? You want some company?" And he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I got a question." He's like, "What? You got money?" He's like, "Yeah, I got money." She's like, "Oh shit!" He pulls out a fucking wad,
Like a giant
wad of
this
money.
Is like Pablo Escobar levels of.
And she tries to get into the car, and he's like, whoa. I don't need it right now. I need to set something up. I need a lot of girls. And she's like, okay, well, we need to talk to my pimp, Zorro. So she takes Jeffrey to go see Zorro at a crack den.
It's a bar.
It's a bar, but they walk through, and in one of the bathrooms, he's standing there, and everyone's sitting around smoking crack, just sucking
in this
pipe.
bathroom.
Just hanging out in like a bathroom, and he's standing there with his arms folded, and he's jacked.
He's huge.
He's pretty ripped. And there's a guy talking to him in the background. It's like it's almost like he's just reciting like Bible quotes or something.
It's
and then
weird.
he holds up a big bag of crack and he exchanges it for money.
It's so weird. Like, yeah. So first of all, I had to look this guy up because I was like, was this guy like a professional wrestler or something somewhere?
Some sort of bodybuilder. Yeah.
He's huge. But no, there was no information on him.
Really?
Yeah, he did this movie, and he had this very, very, very tiny bit part in another movie that the same guy did. I think it was Brain Damage. I think he had a bit part in that.
Yeah.
But
horrible actor.
Horrible act. Horrible.
But I totally love him.
Yes. But yeah, it's so weird because the bar is just like a dive bar, nothing.
Yeah.
You go in the bathroom, it's like a completely different world.
Right.
It's like run down graffiti everywhere. The bathroom stall doors are hanging by one hand.
People having sex.
There's a threesome going on
Yeah.
in one bathroom stall, and Zorro's just standing in the middle of this.
All jacked with like a spotlight on him almost. Yeah.
Well, this weird guy with a beard is like whispering weird shit in his ear.
It's such a weird scene.
So weird.
I kind of love it though. But anyway, the hooker comes up to Zorro and says, "Hey, this is Jeffrey. He wants to have a party. He's got the money." But while Jeffrey's looking at Zorro and the hooker talking, he sees the Z on his necklace for Zorro, and then she has a Z branded onto her arm.
So Zorro has branded all his bitches with a Z on their shoulder.
Bold move, man.
Yeah.
That's a baller move right there. So Zorro takes Jeffrey to the side. He's like, "Hey, you want a party? Okay, we're gonna make this happen. We'll set it up. We'll make sure that you get a special rate.
The best girls, you get to pay the best price though." And like, Jeffrey's like, "Yeah, we can.
We can work something out." Yeah. But then Jeffrey's like, "Hey, what are those baggies that you're giving people?" And he's like this, and he holds up a bag of crack. He goes, "Yeah, that." And Jeffrey takes the crack.
Which I thought was weird. That he just takes it out of this giant guy's hands, no drug dealer just lets somebody just take that crack from him without paying first.
Yeah, I mean, he has his arm around him. I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
He's like, just give me that crack. And, so Jeffrey takes a bag of crack.
Yeah, and we cut back to Jeffrey back at home, and he's watching...
basically like a Maury Povich, Jerry Springer type show.
Morton Downey Jr. That's exactly who it's referencing. And Morton Downey Jr. was in... I think he was on a WrestleMania where they did a Piper's Pit WrestleMania, where his big thing was he was smoke. He was a shock. He was like
Howard Stern.
He wasn't a shock. He had a TV show, but he would it was like Geraldo-esque or Jerry Springer-esque before they were, it was that type of show where he would just, "You disgust me. You have pregnant teenagers. What the hell's wrong with you?" As he smoked, and the crowd's like, "Yeah." So this was like an 80s show. It was the very first Jerry Springer-esque type of shows. And it's that type of character. And he's talking about crack is destroying people. And there's this woman who's saying, "Oh, we should legalize prostitution."
That's Casey the hooker from
Yeah.
Basket Case.
Yeah.
Who explained her saying who was a hooker. And she's like, "Yeah, you should legalize prostitution. Get us, because that crack's killing us. And blah, blah, blah. If we was legal, we wouldn't eat on this crack all this time."
Yeah. And we cut over to Jeffrey, who's watching. He's like, she's right. This crack is killing him." And then he holds up this bag or this canister full of crack. It's just giant rocks of crack.
Gallon Ziploc bag of like giant crack rocks.
Yeah, and he holds it up and he goes,
the
but
size of ice cubes.
but this will kill him a lot quicker with my super crack.
Super crack.
He's made super crack.
Super crack. We'll fucking
What does the super crack do? How is it going to kill him faster? Well, he experiments.
Heisenberg. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, real
Walter
Heisenberg.
White,
Yes,
yeah.
Walter White on our hands here.
So he decides to experiment with his super crack because his goal is to kill the prostitutes with a super crack, so he can harvest their bodies. But he has to test it out first on a guinea pig, literal guinea pig.
A literal guinea pig.
And he pumps the super crack in. He's like, yeah, you look hot. You look foxy. You're looking good. He's like sexy talking to guinea pig. He's like, now take a breath. The guinea pig breathes in the super crack and boom, poof, just explodes into pieces.
The guinea pig fucking explodes. Again, no blood though. No blood. A guinea pig explodes, but there's zero blood.
Oh, man.
Are you kidding me?
I loved it. So he's like, okay, it works. We cut back. Jeffrey goes back to have his party. He gets lined up with his, he gets hooked up with Zero and the main hooker, and he's like, okay, here are our girls. We've got Snow. We've got Chartreuse. We've got, and just list off like 7 or 8 different strippers. I don't remember all their names.
Angel,
Chartreuse, Snow, Maggie or something.
Monkey.
Yeah. Crystal was one of them.
And
and they're all different races, all different shapes and sizes, just all kinds of different girls.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay. And they're like, okay, this is Jeffrey. He wants to play doctor. We'll call him Dr. Jersey. Jersey Boy. Yeah, he's
Jersey Boy.
Dr. Jersey Boy. Dr. Jersey Boy wants to play doctor. So, line up, and what he does is he has a fucking white lab coat on. He's got his glasses, and he's got, I don't even know what they're called. It's that silver.
It's like a reflector, it's like that circular round disc that the doctors used to wear on their head, like reflect the light back.
Yeah,
on.
so they could see.
It doesn't produce light; it just reflects
it's
light.
It's so weird. Yeah, but he has that on, and he starts taking measurements.
Well,
he's
like a tape measure.
He's got a tape measure, and he's like, "Oh yeah, look at this. These are nice long legs. These are perfect." And it's a long scene where he's just like feeling girls' tits. He holds a magnifying glass up to a nipple, and he goes, boop. He goes, perfect.
Nice buoyancy, too.
Yeah, and he puts a check, but he's like, this is the ass. This is the one. He puts a big black marker check mark on her ass.
On her ass cheek. Yeah.
Pretty funny scene, but kind of long.
Yeah, it wears on.
And,
there's one thing that caught my mind, because you never really hear it, but he's like, got this one girl. She's standing up. Her legs up on the bed, and he's kind of crouched down underneath her leg, measuring. And he's like, "Oh, this reminds me of the St. Louis Arch."
Yes.
I was like, "What?" I wasn't expecting. Okay,
that's right. I forgot about that. That's right.
Like ever.
That's hilarious.
I just found that hilarious. That of all movies, this gets a
Frankenhooker references St. Louis.
Like what?
All right, St. Louis is on the map now.
Yeah. So. Main hooker starts getting a little impatient. Like, all right, Jeffrey, you did all.
He's like, hey, time's running out.
You gotta pick your winner. You gotta pick your main girl here, because the rest of them gotta go back to Zoro. Gotta go back to work.
And we see Zoro arrive because it's time for the bitches to get back to work. So he shows up and he's walking back and forth. He's pacing, waiting for the girls to come down the stairs.
Yeah.
Jeffrey goes, I can't decide. You're all very nice, but I just can't make this decision. I don't know.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do this. You're often, I can't go through with it. And so main hooker is like, she's getting pissed. Like, what? What the fuck? Well, where's our money? Got our money.
We need to get paid. Yeah. And he's like, okay, fine. You want the money? You want the money? And he tosses like a medical bag at him.
So it's the old black doctor bag.
And she opens it up and there's a big wad of money. But then she goes, oh God, girls, we're gonna party tonight. And she pulls out the super crack, and they all go bananas.
Just lose their goddamn mind.
All of them just go insane, just bonkers.
Yeah.
Like it's the Beatles in the 60s, they just go ape shit. And they're just like, oh my God. And he's like, no, don't take that. And he tries to fight him back. The girls overpower him.
Instantly also strip. It's like, oh, crack, clothing gone.
And they just, they tackle them. They're holding them down as they grab the rocks and start smoking. All of a sudden they have crack pipes, and all of them are just all of them are chiefing.
Like, I've never smoked crack.
Nor have I.
But I can't imagine that the sight of crack, or that in order to smoke crack, one must strip out of their clothing in order to do so. Because that's really odd to me.
Maybe.
I mean, we've smoked weed, sure, but I've never seen weed ooh, weed, and just poop, take off my pants.
You ever smoke your weed naked?
I've never smoked my weed naked.
Actually, I don't think I have either.
So it's just so weird to crack, boom, out come the titties, out go the lingerie. They're just getting naked and dancing around, smoking this super crack.
Super crack. And the whole time Jeffrey's like, no, don't do it. No, stop. It's going to kill you. He's trying to warn him, but they don't. They put on the music. Mm-hmm. They crank out some tunes. They're smoking crack. They're going bananas. Everyone's having a great time.
Two of them are starting making out with each other.
Yeah, they're dancing. I mean, it's a fucking party. So, Zorro is like, okay, that's it. No one's coming. He goes upstairs and he's listening. He's like, hey, he starts like banging on the door. So Zorro's right outside the door. The girls who are smoking crack, having a lot of fun, and one of them goes, ooh, oh, I don't feel, is it getting hot in here? And kind of without warning, we hear, boom! And the stripper fucking explodes.
The stripper explodes.
And it's like this paper mache, like it cuts mannequin, like almost like a paper, and it blows up. It looks kind of cool. I gotta admit, the cut that like. They do a great job of editing the film from a live person to a mannequin exploding. I think they do a good job with that. Yeah, I couldn't do better, but it's pretty cool. And she explodes, and everyone's like, ah!
I would hope so. You say there's somebody just spontaneously explodes in front of you.
Everyone,
but again, no fucking blood. A human body explodes and there's zero blood.
Well, it's the only thing I can say is maybe it's carterizing everything as because their body temperature rises.
No.
I'm reaching here, baby. I'm reaching here. Come on. Don't play any Christian Bale shit at me. Don't do it. No, Marshall, no. But they all they're all freaking out. For some reason, they don't run out the door.
Yeah, they don't go out the window.
They're just like running around in circles in here as more and more of them start exploding. Boom,
like
boom, boom.
At this point.
They're all exploding. One's crawling towards the door. She puts her hands on the door. Boom, she blows up before she can get out.
Some of them, though, like, the first one's not terrible. But like I said, the more they do it, like, they had to work with, obviously, limited budget, but man, some of them are so painfully obvious. Just
I
like
love
mannequins.
it.
Like,
love it.
But again, so you have like 8 hookers
all blowing
up in this room. 0 drops of blood. Not a single drop of blood for 8 exploding bodies.
Pieces everywhere, not a drop of blood.
So
Zorro
hears,
he hears all the commotion.
But main hooker, she's like, what the fuck, Jeremy? She's like saying over. She pulls out like a switchblade, a knife, is about to stab him. When she blows up, right as Zorro bursts
down the door.
And her head goes flying off through the doorway and collides, bam, right into Zorro's face. And Zorro goes flying back through the door.
I love it. It's in slow motion, too, and I love the sounds like, conk.
So he gets hit with a severed head, like being shot out of a catapult or something like that.
Yeah, and he's out cold. Jeffrey stands up, looks around. It's just body parts everywhere. Just body. He's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna take care of all of you. I'm gonna make sure you're all fixed. I'm gonna take care of you all.
Might be a little bit, but I'll get you.
I'm gonna take care of each and every one of you." And he packs up their body
in hefty
bags. Goes to the fire escape and just tosses bags down.
Bags of body parts out on the street. Here you go. Nobody cares.
Oh my God, I fucking love it.
So anyway, those bags would be so heavy,
right?
And because he drives home, he pulls in his truck, and his trunk is so overfilled with hefty bags of body parts that he can't put his trunk down. It's like tied with rope, and there's arms and feet just dangling out of the bag. Like, nobody cares. Like, really, you just can drive from New York to Jersey with body parts dangling out of your trunk.
No one's bats an eye. No one bats an eye.
And then he just picks up these bags like they might as well just be filled with like paper. They'd be so heavy.
That's a really good point.
So heavy. And he's like, whoop, whoop, like just
I didn't even think about that. You're totally right. Those bags would just be torn apart, but it's still just hilarious.
So he takes them into the garage. He opens up the freezer full of goo, and starts dumping body parts into the goo.
Well, he starts going through the body parts. Or yeah, he I don't remember if he puts them back or not, but
I don't remember.
But anyway,
there's
he's
a montage
yeah.
of him going through body parts.
So now it's like, okay, something we forgot to mention also, that there was a storm when he's having dinner with her head.
Yeah.
Is that there's a storm coming in a couple days with a lot of electricity, and he needs to be ready. So the storm's on its way in. And he's like, okay, he's kind of rushing around trying to find the best parts. And since they're all been exploded, he's going through them like, which one was it? And he's got a table full of tits.
Except for the titties. The titties are immaculate, apparently. They didn't blow up.
A pile of tits.
On like a silver platter.
He's going through them like, no, this isn't the one. No, this is one. Okay, this is one of them. Where's the other one? Ah, here they are.
That's the best part of the mind is the titty platter.
The titty platter. So funny.
Otherwise, I'm like, okay, I get it, whatever.
Yeah.
But he finds a hand and it basically just slaps on some like blue paste and sticks it on her arm and then starts welding.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this blue paste supposed to be?
So
Who knows?
he assembles the body, the pieces of the body, and he. So Marshall's, I don't know what. Sorry,
no,
buddy.
I just noticed that one of the pictures on the wall, for some reason, is all crooked. I'm like, how the hell did that get crooked?
You're so distracted.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
I'm back.
So he assembles the body.
Yeah.
And the storm starts rolling in. He puts the other body parts into the cooler. That's when he puts the other body parts into the cooler. He pulls out the head, and this is where it comes out completely dry.
Yep.
I mean, you see him pull it out, and it dry.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, it's like tonight we begin. He puts the head on, and he opens up the roof of his garage, just like Frankenstein, classic, 1930s Frankenstein. Pulls up, he pulls the chain, up goes the gurney, bringing her body up into the sky as the storm goes on, and sure enough, it gets struck by lightning. Purple lightning, mind you.
Yeah.
Not blue electricity.
No, there was. The lightning was blue.
No, it was purple.
No, she's purple later. The lightning was blue.
No, it was purple. You're colorblind. It was purple.
I'm not colorblind. There was a back and forth. Because it was an odd choice, because there were times when there was blue electricity, and then there was a lot of purple electricity as well.
Regardless, the purple electricity starts to shock everything.
You're lucky, games brains and head brain in life. You're lucky. Because my finger was on the trigger. It was on the trigger.
Yeah, because it's purple. It's purple lightning.
I'm purple.
Not the same ring to it. No,
not the same.
So we see, Jeffrey gets knocked down from all the electricity. He gets knocked out. We see the cooler get shocked quite a bit also.
Yeah, it's like everything's just getting shocked. Like, he would be so dead.
And they really emphasize the cooler getting shocked with the electricity.
Yeah. That's the purple electricity, too. That's purple.
Well, he gets back up. He brings down the gurney, brings it down. He pulls back.
But for some reason, she's also standing up now. When he raises it, she's lying flat on her back, which makes sense. When it comes down, she's standing on it, covered in a sheet. Like, why? Why is she standing?
And we start at the feet, where she's got the giant clogs.
She's got heels.
The huge clogs.
She's got like this, you saw like the Spice Girls.
Yes, those platform shoes. Those giant
platform, like blocky horse hoof, like
very
platform.
Frankenstein boot-esque.
Yeah.
And it pans from her feet all the way up. And I gotta admit, I love when they get to her head and she's looking around all bird-like. Very Bride of Frankenstein.
Really?
Nice homage, because if you watch The Bride of Frankenstein, when they released The Bride, she's looking around all kinds of, like all over the place.
Okay, because that makes sense. Because I will say, I've never seen Bride of
really?
Frankenstein. Yeah.
It's really good.
I had an issue with her twitches because I didn't see the movie, so I didn't maybe get that reference. But to me, it was too robotic. It looked like she was a fucking robot.
Well,
like why are you robotic?
It's totally a total homage. It's a total homage to the Bride of Frankenstein.
If I knew that, I would have given this a little bit more slack. That bothered me. Like, you're not a fucking robot. You're a zombie, basically. But you're not a robot.
Her head is completely white. Or like white makeup all over with her body parts, and it's kind of cool the way they did a pretty good job of making it look like she's got like a black forearm, she's got like different hands, she's got like a darker arm here and there. You can tell it's all piecemeal together from the different hookers.
I don't understand how, why her face is white now. because her head was not.
No.
And her hair's now black.
Yes.
She was blonde.
Blonde.
She was blonde.
Very blonde. And now it's jet
black.
Jet black.
That makes zero. How does that happen? If anything, I would say it would go from dark to lighter being
Or
shocked.
burned right off.
Or burned right off, yeah. Why is it black now?
I don't know, but it fucking works.
And she's wearing a purple skin-tight miniskirt with like a purple bra, which again...
Like tube top bra,
tube top bra. Like, what? Where'd that come from? That's not what she was wearing.
And they pan up to her.
And none of the hookers were wearing that either. It's not even like he took the clothes from the hookers. This is a whole new outfit
Right.
he got from somewhere.
I don't care. I love it. Oh, she's wearing like stockings too. But he finally reveals her and says, Elizabeth, I brought you back. Elizabeth, are you there? And she goes, want a date? Want some company?
Got any money?
You lonely? You got any money? He's like, Elizabeth, what's going on? And she goes, you got any money? He goes, no, I don't have any money. Back slaps him and knocks him out. Just backhands him, and off she goes. We see her step down, and god damn it, she's doing such a great job of walking all like distorted and kind of dragging her feet, and she's just shuffling, and she does these like she gets up close to the camera. She does this crazy ass like stretching of her lips.
Yeah,
I fucking love it. I love it.
I got tired of that. Like, okay, I will say though, Patty Mullen, the actress. She did did a pretty darn good job in this role, given what she had to work with and told what to do. And
she's Frankenhooker.
Yeah, I would say she did a darn good job. She was fine.
Yeah,
but that said, again, I got real tired of this almost over physicality that she's doing. Like, it's too like that yawning, stretching of the. Like, I get maybe at the very beginning because you just got reanimated, you're maybe getting the kinks worked out, the muscles that have been, let's say, rigor mortis or whatever. I get that. But then it just doesn't stop. It's like all the time.
She does it a lot. Yeah.
And to me, it got really fucking old. I'm like, oh, God, I get it enough. Because now you don't look like a zombie coming back. Now you just look like some kind of a mentally handicapped person.
Ouch, Marshall! How dare you?
Or like or Tourette's or something. She's like, and I was like,
did you throw in a snort there?
Yeah, I did. It got really annoying to me really quickly. The first time I got it, I understand, but after that, let's start easing up on that.
I didn't mind it. I liked it. I thought it was just a weird tick that she had. But off she goes. She hits the streets and she shuffles off back to New York.
She
takes the subway.
That's right. She takes the subway.
She takes the subway back. She doesn't walk all the way back.
You. I forgot. She does get on the subway.
She gets on the subway, and when she's on the subway, people are like, "Oh my god, I hope she's not contagious!" And there's just a scene then when she walks up to. She doesn't say anything during this scene. She doesn't say "want a date," "want money," she doesn't say anything. But she walks up to this like teenager. And she's standing in front of him, and she, of course, she's got this like skimpy outfit on, and she's, and I couldn't tell if he's turned on or scared.
Yeah, I thought he was scared, but I was like, what? Like, it's a weird.
It's kind of a strange scene.
It's really weird.
I'm glad they showed her taking the subway because that explains how she got back to New York. And I don't mind, like, everyone's freaking out saying, I hope she's not contagious. Everyone's kind of scared. And of course, New York, it's like, well, you see some fucked up shit, but they're like, whoa, this is fucked up. But that when they really pan on that guy, they keep him there. They hold that scene for a while,
too long, which makes it really awkward and weird.
Like what's going to happen? He's wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen with this kid? How's he going to play into it? Nothing.
It would make more sense if he's turned on because he's a teenager and she's like this really
scantily clad,
tight fit body. And, it's like tits right in front of him. And he'd be like, oh, yeah. But no, he looks like more like he's about to wet himself.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's really weird.
It's really strange, yeah. But Jeffrey wakes up. He's like, oh, no, she's gone. And he runs outside, and he's able to deduce that she's going back to New York.
To Hook.
To Hook.
Yeah. To find a John.
Yeah, we see Frankenhooker come out of the subway, and she's walking... she's on the streets of New York, and there's people, and she walks up to him, hey, you want a date? And he's like, no, I'm going back to my wife, but thank you. And she knocks him down. Hey, you want lonely? You want some company? Constantly. She's just constantly saying this, and I fucking love it. I just love it. And he's like, He's like, get away from me. She's like, "Argh," does the weird face thing, throws a guy into traffic. A bunch of Japanese tourists are taking pictures of him, and she walks up to him. Want a date? You lonely? Want some company? They obviously don't say anything. She knocks them all down. Argh.
He turns around, and then there's fucking like the penguin. The fucking like Danny DeVito like guy.
Oh yeah, she turns around and goes, "Want some company?" He's like, "Yes, oh yes, I want you." And he's this short, really round, fat, bald guy with glasses, and he's so excited and enamored to see Frankenhooker.
Yeah, and like seems very Jewish. Not that, but just the accent to get that.
He's real.
God, yes, I know, baby.
Yeah. Real.
That kind of.
Fucking love this guy.
So she takes him back to the same
Sultry Arms Hotel.
Which he's like, oh, I know this place.
I love this place. I've been here before. He's very Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Like a Nutty Professor kind of Jerry Lewis. Like, yeah. Pretty lady. Yeah.
So she takes him upstairs.
For those who don't know Jerry Lewis, think of Professor Frink from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's
Glavin.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. She takes him up to the another room and basically throws him on the bed. She strips down naked.
Yes, and completely, like the actress strips down completely naked. When she takes off her top, it goes boing. You know?
I don't understand this either.
And her nipples are purple.
Why? Why?
Because it's awesome.
Why? Why? I don't know.
Easy with the weird drama. Marshall did a whole fucking pose there. Like
I don't know what I'm doing.
This is an audio format, my friend. They don't see you.
Just like, why is the hair? Why are her areolas and nipples purple?
Why is her hair black? Why is her head white? Who cares? I just love it. I love the look. I think it's great.
I don't get it. I don't get. So anyway, she strips down, and he looked like when his eyes go big white.
Whoa.
And one thing I did find out is that there was supposed to be here a shot of her pubic hair, which was also supposed to be purple.
Huh.
And that's one reason why his eyes like, because she's got purple pubes.
Yeah,
now,
cool.
Let me explain something to you about 80s Bush. 80s Bush was no joke. It was scary. And before I go on, hold on a second.
80s Bush is, it was a thing. It was
really, really big, really bad. Not just women's, but men's bushes were disgusting back
out
in
of
the
control.
80s. Out of control.
You know that term buckwheat in a headlock? Well, imagine just the buckwheat hair just poof coming out everywhere.
And what you want to do, guys, is you want to now, you know he wants that. That's not the thing anymore. So you want to go over to manscaped.com where you get yourself a lawnmower 4.0 generation.
Yes.
And with the Nicholas Cutlass technology, the porcelain head blade is waterproof and it will clear that shit up in an instant. Slick, easy, no mess, no fuss. You'll be smooth as a baby seal, and it is mwah.
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
That is
crotch.
goddamn right.
Yes, and you know what? If you want to keep some, you can. They actually have guards too.
They do.
So
if you
just want to keep it nice and trim, you can do that. Now, honestly, I think that's kind of what I've been doing lately. I just keep it. You know, because I took it all off, and I kind of looked down. I'm like, that looks weird. But I do like the guard. You can have it nice and tight. And that's how I have it now, man. I keep it nice and tight.
Nice and tight.
Yeah, I keep a little bit there because it does look strange with nothing there at all.
I go nothing. You get used to it, but yeah. So get yourself.
But they give you options.
They do give you options. And if you want to get creative, you're an artsy type. You know, shave is. You know, give yourself a fucking landing strip. Give yourself a nice little spade, or plus sign, or whatever.
Lightning bolt.
Or if you got that special girl, trim your initials in your pubes. She'll love it. She'll think you're sweet. But anyway, you can get that at manscaped.com. And when you do, enter promo code MOONGOON, that's MOONGOON, at checkout to get 20% off your entire order plus free shipping.
Boom.
All right, so anyway,
the purple pubes.
Purple pubes. She hops on fucking.
So, but what happened? You said she was supposed to have purple pubes, but did they cut?
They cut it out for like, I don't know if it was time, or I think it was like reduce a rating. Like
Yeah,
I think
because she's naked when she
is
she
naked.
gets
Oh,
on
she's
top of him,
completely
and you can see her ass,
Yep.
and you
It's
see
still got the check
it's
mark.
got the check mark on it
it.
from when Jeffrey was looking at the other
I did
prostitutes.
think that was good. I
Yeah.
will give them that they kept the check mark on her ass.
Yeah.
Even though the ass is a different color than the ass that originally got to put check mark, they didn't.
There's
change
only so much you can do.
but I did think that.
Yeah.
So she starts dry humping this guy who's like going,
Yeah, and she's on top. It's like, oh yeah, you like that? Huh? You like that? And she's grabbing his head, and smoke starts to rise from the bed.
Yeah.
It's getting hotter and hotter. He goes, ooh, is it getting hot in here? Ah! He starts
Damn it,
to
I don't
scream.
have that. I don't have that. I gotta get that Nelly.
Oh,
I wish I had.
it's getting hot in here.
Yeah, I don't have that. I just got
And we see purple electricity sparking in his mouth. He starts to overheat,
No,
and then
this was blue electricity.
no, it was purple.
She's purple. His was blue.
Fucking no, it's purple electricity. I'm telling you.
Whatever. Fine.
But the purple electricity gets so hot and so intense that he also explodes.
His head just explodes. I don't know if he explodes, but his head like pops off his body.
He blows. His torso blows up. She pulls back. She has his head in his hand.
I
She
missed
does.
that thing.
She does the lip thing, like ooh, which is kind of funny.
But then his dead head speaks.
Yes.
Why? Why?
And he goes, oh, that was nice.
His head, he's dead. His dead severed head speaks. What? And I guess I missed his torso blowing up.
Yeah.
I just remember her on top grinding, and then like he like his neck blows up and his head comes up. I saw that. I don't remember seeing the
Yeah, it's like his torso.
blow.
Yeah, it's like they pan back. It's a mannequin.
Okay.
Same thing.
I just missed that.
Yeah, and she pulls his head off. Was holding his. Oh, that was nice. I don't care. I love it. Woo!
So at this point, I think we go back to Jeffrey, who's wandering the streets.
Yeah, he's asking random people.
If you've seen a purple lady,
This really tall
I
purple
don't
lady.
understand. She's not purple.
Well, it's
Her nipples are purple. Her pubes were supposed to be purple. She's not. I don't understand why. I don't. God damn it!
You got weird hang-ups.
I
man.
do.
You got weird little
It doesn't.
hang-ups.
Why? How hard is it? Have you seen a girl with black hair wearing purple instead of a purple lady? Very different things.
Fair enough. But
One is a human person. The other is fucking Grimace. Like, what are you trying to? They're two different
Grimace.
things. Like, it's just simple writing. Just change some words and it's fine.
I don't mind it. I think your hang up is a little
Anyway,
much.
and there's also I don't know. He's going around asking people.
He's
in Times
looking
Square,
for and he's looking for we see Frankenhooker walking down the street, again, all the like on Hooker Row,
No,
where there's just
he's
tons
still
of
in the-
hookers. No, because she leaves the sultry arms after she.
No, because there's the guy in the hallway. She comes out of the room.
Oh yeah. Okay, I forgot about this
Yeah,
scene.
she
Yeah,
comes out of the bedroom with
I
killing the
forgot
little
about this
Jewish
scene.
guy.
Yeah, which is funny because she kills him. She's walking out the door. She turns around. She goes back and pulls the money out of his pants.
Yep.
$40.
And so she's walking down the hallway, and then there's just other like incredibly
Sleazy.
stereotypical like Brooklyn Bronx guy, like
Mullet.
At first, I thought it was the Brooklyn Brawler, man. He was just dirty white
Dirty
shirt,
white
hole, and he had
shirt, yeah.
greasy hair. Like, oh god, it's the Brooklyn Brawler.
But he's a little thinner, yeah. He's a little smaller,
thinner,
yeah. But he comes in, he's like, "Hey, baby, yeah. How you like you like the Mets?
Yeah.
I'm not really into team sports. I'm more of a one-on-one kind of guy. Let me show you." And he
Yeah.
just grabs her
Just
and
grabs
plants,
her and starts
just
kissing
plants one on her, and she's like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
But then, of course, he starts to steam. He starts to have electricity, steam shooting out his mouth. I think this is blue electricity on him. God damn it! Oh, now you're turning into a weird little Jewish guy. I'm sorry, headbanging life. Oh, I'm sorry. That son of a bitch.
He said it. Yay!
He had it queued up and ready, man.
There's so much electricity. You'd think I wouldn't have that queued up and ready for this movie.
But we see outside, we just see a head come flying through a window
and land in the
and land in the garbage,
can.
and no one notices
No,
a
just
thing.
keeps walking by.
Just another day in New York.
Yeah, severed heads in garbage cans. Just another day.
That's when she goes downstairs and she's
when
walking
yeah.
through the streets. She knocks over a transvestite when she's walking, just pushing people out of her way, and she winds up back at the bar. The bar that we first met Zorro.
Yeah.
she walks. We see Zorro sitting at the bar talking to some real skeezy, weird-looking dude.
Is
Skinny.
this the Mexican guy?
He's something. I don't know.
He's something.
But he's like, hey man, I'm really sorry you lost your bitch. He's like, I didn't lose him. I didn't lose. They just blew up. I don't know what's happening.
They didn't lose him. They blew up.
He's got tears in his beer. He's real upset. He's upset that his hoes are gone, and he's holeless.
He is holeless.
There ain't no hoe, no mo. So there's no mo ho.
A pimp with no hose is just sad.
It's
just sad.
It is sad. Yeah, and he's drowning his sorrows.
Yep.
The guy who's talking with Zorro sees Frankenhooker come in, and she's like, want a party? Want a date? Doing the same thing. He goes, ooh, baby, it's you. Here I'm coming. I want to talk to you. And she comes over. It's like, hey, how you doing? And she goes, hey, this is Jeffrey. We call him Dr. Jersey Boy. He wants to talk to Zorro's gals. So she's repeating the same thing that the hooker said earlier.
Yep.
But Zorro hears this and kind of glances over like, hey, she's talking, what?
Okay, two things. Well, first of all, the Mexican guy, this guy, whatever he is.
We'll just call him the Mexican guy, yeah.
Is terrible.
Yeah.
He's so annoying. He's the worst character in this movie by far. And that's saying something because Zorro is pretty fucking bad too. But this guy is the worst.
He is the worst, yeah.
So annoying. That said, also, I also find, you might not care because you already said you love it. I also find it weird that Frankenhooker Elizabeth speaks only in lines that the main hooker said, which doesn't make any sense to me because her head was whole. It's not like it's her body, the hooker's head. It's her head, her brain with other body parts. It might not have been main hooker's body parts. So it doesn't make sense to why she would have those memories or her that inkling to be. Maybe the Bible is like, oh, I can't control my hand, and that shit. But to keep saying these same lines, that being the person's brain, her brain was never replaced. Her head was never replaced. It should be her head, her brain, her memories on these hookers' bodies. So it's probably a stupid thing that people don't care about, but it's something that I don't know why, but I think about that, and it bothers me. Like, it doesn't make any sense as to why she's saying only the hooker's line.
I thought the same thing, but I kind of like was able to bridge that gap at the end when she talks about it. She does have a conversation about, spoiler alert, Elizabeth's brain comes back, but, she talks about it later on, and so I'm okay with that part. And did you know your gut has neurons, has a shitload of neurons in it, brain-styled neurons. So if she has the woman's torso, she could still have certain memories or certain things. And of course, she's fucked up. I mean, she's goddamn Frankenhooker. She's not working correctly, and some of the neurons could be helping signaling that. Your gut has neurons in it. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
It's pretty incredible. That's when you say, listen to your
I was
gut.
about to say,
There's a lot of truth to that. Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, there is an educational moment for you right there.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. So listen to your gut.
All right.
So Frankenhooker is talking with this Mexican guy, but is, again saying, like we said, oh, Dr. Jersey Boy. Whoa, he wants a date, The Mexican guy takes hey, baby, let's talk in private. He takes her to a table where there's a stripper performing, but they're not paying attention, and she's just looking around again, doing that kind of bird-like looking around.
It's like robot.
As the Mexican guy's like, oh baby, I'm gonna make sure you. She's like, I got all the right parts. And she's like, oh baby, I bet you do. And he goes under the table to go down on her.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what he's doing.
Too. But then when you see him, it's so weird because obviously, if you think about it, it anatomically doesn't add up.
Well, yeah, but he goes underneath the table. I don't know, he might be flexible. Who knows? But he goes down under the table, and we just see his legs. But then we see smoke billowing out from the bottom of the table. His legs are twitching around. And yes, there is electricity.
And what color is that electricity?
Motherfucker. Fuck you.
Sorry.
And he blows up. Kaboom!
Blows up in the middle of this bar.
It flips the table. It looks like a nuclear explosion. But again, it's just him that blows up. But when the guy was going down, Zorro's watching her hey, I know that he sees the Z on her arm. And he sees that, she's part. It was like, what the fuck? Hold on. What's going on there? So he sees her.
At this point, everybody starts running out of the bar.
And Jeffrey comes into the bar. Everyone's running out as Jeffrey runs in.
Zorro, before Jeffrey he goes up to Elizabeth. He's like, "Who are you, bitch? What you doing? That ain't your arm. That's my bitch's arm. Who are you?
Yeah,
What's my thing? Blah, blah, blah."
pretty funny.
And she hits him.
She backhands him and knocks him pretty far back.
And he's like, "Oh, bitch, you done do it now." And he comes back and just bam!
Punches her in the face, and he punches her so hard, her head comes off like a Pez dispenser.
Yes, her head.
It just flops back. It doesn't come completely off, but it flops open,
Like a
and
Pez dispenser.
Electricity comes shooting out of her neck
Hers
stump.
is purple.
It comes shooting out of her neck stump,
Yep.
and everyone's freaking out even more. Pandemonium.
Yes.
It's fun. And it's like they show the head on the back, and it's like mouthing and looking around. It looks kind of good.
I will say that did look pretty good because it's not like a fake head because her eyes are moving. So they did a good job with that effect. I will give them that. Except for the weird red
blood.
It's not blood because
it's
there's no blood.
It's like a chunk of muscle
it's like
or
a
something.
weird chunk of muscle that's holding her scalp, her head on from her neck. Like that's not anatomically correct.
It's real weird.
It's really weird.
Really strange.
So, but anyway,
Jeffrey sees her, runs up. He's like, "Oh, geez, we got to get you back." He puts her head back on, pops it back. The electricity stops shooting out.
And he walks her down.
And he was like, "Come on, let's go. Let's walk back." He takes her back to his car, which is conveniently parked outside.
Right outside.
Puts her in, and when he hits the gas, her head flops back. I did like that. And Zorro's right behind him and conveniently goes, "Taxi."
Yep.
So Zorro is in pursuit.
Yeah. So
Jeffrey takes her back to the laboratory garage. And he's bolting.
He's more like regular Frankenstein now.
Bolting her neck to the body.
Instead of just stitches, it's like metal
clasps.
And he's added like the big
neck bolts.
The neck bolt. Yes, the neck bolts.
Adds the neck bolts. And he's like, "Okay, we gotta get your mind back. We gotta get it right." And he starts shocking her with some purple electricity into the neck bolts, and she, and while he like plugs it in, he's standing there. And he plugs them both in, and he starts like doing like a pee-pee dance.
Yes,
it's so strange.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like it's a pee-pee dance.
Like he's got to take a leak, and he's like, "Ugh, he can't hold it." I'm like, dude, should have gone to the bathroom first before you did this.
It was so odd. Like, why are you doing this little weird dance?
Wiggle. It looks like he's got to piss really bad. He's doing the pee-pee dance.
It's right. Yeah, it's a great way to put it because I don't know what else you call it, but it's fucking weird.
He unplugs it, and Frankenhooker wakes back up, and it's Elizabeth. Yep. She's back.
She's like, "You're a hooker. Why you gotta be a hooker? I know you're not." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm not a hooker."
She's like, "I'm not a hooker." And he turns around, and she's, "Hey, where are we? What happened? What happened to the party?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my God, you're back." He's like, "Where am I? What's going on? Where's the party?" And he's like, "You were, you're gone."
Like, I was in a coma. I was like, "No, worse. Like I was dead." Like,
yeah,
I brought you back.
She's
like,
like,
"I love you, Liz. I love you so much. I love you so much more than ever." And she's like,
"This is great." But she's like, "This is great. Oh my God, you brought me back. You're so brilliant. Thank you so much."
We have to share this with the world.
Yeah, she's so happy and impressed with this.
And he's like, "I can't because my blood formula is estrogen based, so I can only bring back women."
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, dude, think about all the people you can save. Think about all the good you can still do with this." And she's holding her hands up. She goes, "Wait, these aren't my hands.
These ain't my tits.
These aren't my. This isn't my body. What'd you do?" And he goes, "Look, there wasn't enough of you left to fry an egg with," which has a weird.
I've never heard that phrase.
I haven't either.
But I also find like, just calm down. I'm like, really? Like, I'm sorry. She has the right at this point to be really fucking irate,
right,
out of control. She just got brought back from the dead,
right,
and found out she's in like a body made of other people's
of hookers.
And you're like, just calm down. You're fine. Like, no, she is absolutely in the right to be upset and like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, and as he's telling, he's explaining what happened and the process it all went through. Zorro creeps in the back. We see Zorro creep in. He looks over. He sees a machete on his.
Why?
Why not?
Why is that there?
The only thing I can think of is if you're trimming body parts. Who knows?
But also at this point, I think deep down, I think Elizabeth wanted revenge.
Because she would see Zorro coming.
Clearly see this mountain of a man.
The guy's as big as a house.
She's looking right at him.
And as he comes in with the machete,
walks up right up behind Jeffrey. She clearly couldn't see him. It doesn't say a goddamn thing.
And Zorro cuts his head off.
Yep.
Just one swing,
Right.
pop,
Pop.
off goes his head. To which Elizabeth goes, "Oh my God, Jeffrey, why'd you do that? Who are you?"
Yeah, why'd you do that? You bitch, you let him. You watched him walk right up behind him with a machete, and you did nothing.
I love it. She goes, "Who are you?" Zorro throws the machete and goes, "No, bitch, who are you?" And walks up to her, grabs her, and kind of starts shaking her back and forth, going, "Who are you? Why'd you do this? What are you doing?" He goes, "That's okay, because I know my hookers are in there. Snow, Chartreuse, Miranda, Crystal, I know you're all in there, and I'm going to bring you back, baby." He brings up...
Yeah!
Because this is exactly this pose. I fucking love
He flexes as he's...
And he turns his hand like, which way? Like the beach is that way. But he turns his hand and he's got holding the bag of crack. He's like, this will bring it back. And the way he says it, the first thing I think of is that fucking Macho Man, the cream of the crop. Like,
yes.
Oh yeah, the crack rises to the top. Oh yeah, the crack always rises to the top, Mean Gene.
But when the crack comes out, we start hearing all these crazy noises, and the cooler that's filled with the liquid, all the hooker body part starts to shake, and we hear voices like, "Ah!" It starts to rock back and forth, and it spills out because they can smell the crack. Crack is around.
The crack.
The cooler spills out. All the purple liquid goes onto the floor. Jeffrey's head gets covered in the purple liquid. Yep. An outcome, and like body parts are spilling out, but not just body parts.
Now, out comes nightmare fuel.
Nightmare fuel,
Fucking
indeed.
Cronenberg level shit.
Right, very good. That's exactly what it is. It's just a bunch of Cronenbergs that come out, and it's like head with feet on it. There's a torso with tits on the bottom, but where the crotch is, there's a mouth, and they're all going ape shit for crack.
Like, wad of hands and a ball. There's
a head on top of it.
There's a head with two legs sticking out the back.
Dude, it's creepy.
It's fucking nightmare fuel.
It's really creepy.
Yeah, it's Cronenberg.
And they're all coming at Zorro. Mm-hmm. They're all coming at Zorro like, crack, 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 crack. And they're just going crazy. They knock Zorro down. They're pulling on him. They're tugging on him.
One starts making out with them.
Yeah, which is like with a very comical...
Yeah.
So stupid. And Zorro's like, "Oh no, God!" They drag his body back into the cooler, pulling him into the freezer.
The door slams.
The door slams closed with the crack laying outside. But then it opens back up. A hand reaches out, grabs the crack, goes, "Who's got a stem?"
Yep.
Which I guess is a term for crack pipe.
Yeah.
And they're like,
and it slams back shut. What? What the shit is happening, man?
Oh, God. And the guy tried. He tried to act with these weird Cronenberg puppets.
Yeah.
He tried to, like, make them look like they're being overpowered, but it's so bad. It's so bad because they're, like, falling over and flipping. Like, you can tell they're just, like, rubber. And he's like, "Oh, God, no!" He's fighting. And he's so big. But he's being overpowered by these puppets. It's so weird.
So at this point, he's gone.
Yeah, and dude, and the best thing, Elizabeth doesn't seem too shocked.
Nope. She picks up Jeffrey's head, looks at Jeffrey's like, "I got an idea, Jeffrey."
And his head is dripping liquid.
Yeah.
And this is like when it really like clicked in my head. It's like, that bitch's hair was never wet.
So I got an idea, and it fades to black. And we fade in from Jeffrey's point of view.
Yeah, and
Elizabeth's in front of him wearing that same doctor thing
lab coat.
Like, Jeffrey, wake up. Jeffrey. Like, huh? What happened? He's like, "I fixed you, Jeff." Basically says the exact same thing.
You were gone.
Yeah.
You were gone, but you kept really good notes.
Yeah.
I followed your notes perfectly, and I put you back together. And he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he starts to he holds up his hand and he has fingernails.
Yeah,
There's
woman's
just
hand.
purple fingernails, woman's hand. He's like, what is this? And we pan back and she shows him in reflection that his head is now on a woman's body.
He's got big old tits.
Giant tits. And he's reaching, hey, where's my Johnson? But don't worry, Jeffrey. It doesn't matter. We can be together. I love you, Jeffrey.
I love you
so much, and we can be together forever now. And they close up on Jeffrey's face, going,
It sounds like he's like Goku, like powering up a Kamehameha or something like that.
Fade to black.
Fade to black. Roll credits.
Frankenhooker's in the bag.
There it is.
Goddamn.
That's Frankenhooker. All right, let's move on to our favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right.
God.
This is a weird one because I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, it's you got Elizabeth at the beginning. She gets killed by the lawnmower. Then it's all exploding prostitutes. Then you have people exploding, basically, because there's also the guys that explode. And then Zorro cuts off Jeffrey's head, and then Zorro gets drug away by the Cronenbergs.
Nightmare creatures.
So it's kind of like what's your favorite? And this one's tough. It's tough because there's not really kills so much. The only one that really gets killed is Jeffrey and Zorro.
Yeah.
Elizabeth dies from an accident. And the other girls, I guess Jeffrey did technically kill the prostitutes with the super crack.
Yeah.
Because that was what it was designed for, was to kill. Yeah. So I guess those are kills. So yeah, I'm just going to say the hooker scene.
The hooker scene.
Just all the exploding hookers. It's so much fun. It's so ridiculous. They're naked, they're partying, and they just start blowing up. It's so fun. That's my favorite one.
Here's one of my big problems with this movie. So, like I said, everybody blows up. And let's talk about the hooker blows up again. Because I've mentioned every time, there's zero fucking blood to anybody blowing up.
You really hung up on that.
Well, here's the problem, because Elizabeth, the first one, and they splatter blood all over that. So they do blood. But why did they just say, okay, Elizabeth's the only one, nobody else is getting blood? Like, you have people blowing up. You can't just splatter some blood on the walls.
They do blood.
So, like, that's so lazy to me. And then when they do blow up, they don't blow up like humans. They blow up like they're fucking Terminators or robots. Because they blow up, you see the body parts, they're sparking.
Yeah.
There's sparks coming out of them like they're electrical, like there's electrical circuits in their body.
Are you going to argue the, chemical makeup of super crack?
Yes.
Okay, it's
That's
super.
not super
How
crack.
do you know super
crack doesn't turn your blood into circuitry?
How do you know? You don't know shit about super crack. You don't know super crack, son.
No, super crack.
I mean, who fucking knows? It's goddamn Frankenhooker. Calm down.
So at the end of the day, basically, it comes down, is it the hooker scene where everybody blows up, or maybe Zorro with the Cronenberg nightmare creature? Because that's fucking insane when that happens.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. It's so different from what everything else we've seen.
Yeah.
So it comes down to those two, really.
Yeah. I don't know, the John, the fat Jewish John. He was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wonderful.
See, that ruined it for me, though. A severed head talking, that ruined it for me.
I've made that was a cherry on top for me, baby.
So I guess at the end of the day, I will probably, I don't know. The hookers is fun because it's just everybody blowing up, but excuse me. I think I'll go Zorro.
Yeah.
Let's give it a little because of the Cronenberg creatures are so fucking disturbing, creepy. So I'll go Zorro. All right, let's move on to odds and ends.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
Yeah, man, that Cronenberg shit at the end. I mean, that was like
complete.
The whole movie is just fun. Like, they're having fun, they're being goofy, they're having a good time, and then that's like, God damn.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen with the body parts because they show the thing getting electrocuted so much. I'm like, okay, well, obviously, but I thought it'd be maybe another woman or something, not like that level creepy ass Cronenberg
weirdness.
Weird shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. Oh fuck me! I forgot to finish this.
We got a great episode this week, don't we?
I can fix that real quick here though. So anyway, let's do ratings. First off, we have IMDb gives it a 6.2 out of 10.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, actually, I mean,
It's not bad for.
It's not bad. Not bad. Normally, if we get anything over like a 5, we're lucky.
Yeah.
All right, so this is where I forgot to fill these out. So Rotten Tomatoes. Let me just look this up real quick. While we do so, it's looking up Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, and my computer's running really slow right now.
Of course it is because you're.
I got like all this audio equipment going on right now behind the back.
Because you're recording.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, all this shit going on. So I can't seem to find Rotten Tomatoes is not loading for some reason.
So who cares?
All right, let's move on. So and then that brings us to Amazon. Amazon. Let's see, I can find it right now.
3.5.
Let's see, Franken. Oh nope, Frank.
Oh, this is horrible.
Frankenhooker.
This is not good radio.
This is not good radio. Frankenhooker. Holy shit. 4.6 out of 5. 4.6 out of 5 on Amazon for Frankenhooker. Rotten Tomatoes. Let's try this one more time. Frankenhooker. 1990. There it is. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I got nothing
It's
either.
not. There's no.
That's crazy.
I can understand there's no thermometer score, but an absolutely zero audience score. Not like a 0%.
Right.
There's just
No one's-
nothing.
yeah.
Nothing there.
How could they not? It's
That's
Frankenhooker.
That blows my mind. That it's not even there. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that moves on. Plot keywords. There were 386
Holy shit.
plot
Whoa.
keywords for this movie.
Wow.
Now, I skimmed through all those. Found some ones that were interesting or odd for me,
Sure.
in my opinion. So, first off, we have crack cocaine. Simple.
Yeah.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Sex. Or, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said sex. Science runs amok.
True.
I found that funny. Garden party.
I guess.
Sex in a toilet stall.
Yeah.
Horniness.
I could see that.
Reference to Batman.
There is.
Because it's just a guy wearing a Batman shirt. That's the entire reference.
Yeah.
It's just a guy in a Batman shirt in Times Square.
And he's Swedish.
Yeah. Titillation.
Mm-hmm.
Sexploitation.
Yeah.
Obese woman.
I
Even though
guess.
she's not obese at all. Breast cut off.
Yep, there's a table of titties.
There's a table of titties. Get the drums out. You ready?
Boo, 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 boo. Psychotronic,
Yep.
yes.
Psychotronic.
Yes.
And finally, after God knows how long, but finally, they are back. We have Brawl and Panties!
Panty lovers have been gone for a long time.
They have.
They're back.
They're back.
They're back. And you know what? I'm glad it's something like Frankenhooker that brings them back. Because if they don't put it in this, then what the fuck? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we
What's
doing?
going on?
Yeah.
Why are we living if we're not doing it that way? All right, moving on to trivia. So, writer-director Frank Henenletter improvised the basic story at a pitch meeting after getting the okay to make the picture. Then he finally sat down to write the script.
I want to do this movie with Frankenhooker. Good. What do you got? Nothing.
You got $1 million.
You got a deal.
Elizabeth, even though it's never, I don't think really said, but it's I guess it's listed somewhere. Elizabeth, her last name is Shelley. This is an homage to Mary Shelley,
yeah.
Frankenstein. This Henenlotter's most expensive movie at the time, but there were still budgetary issues. The producers told them that they had used up all of their allotted funds for pyrotechnics in the exploding hooker scene, in which he replied, "How the fuck am I going to film the lab scene?" He ended up calling in a favor to some unlicensed pyrotechnics guy for the shoot. Lorenz recalls the guy finishing the setup and telling him, "Don't worry, it's maybe safe."
That's awesome. And it shows, man. It's like someone just crammed these mannequins with fireworks. You know?
The brain with the eye in the beginning of the film was based on the advertisements for the brain that wouldn't die from like the 50s or 40s or whatever movie that was. Apparently, Bill Murray is a big fan of this movie and publicly endorsed it around the time of its release.
Nice.
This was Henenlotter's first SAG film, meaning he was using actors who were members of the guild, but he ran into some trouble as the girls the guild was sending him were not inclined to do nudity, or didn't want them to do nudity was his problem too, because they were not obviously.
Well, I'm glad he found the ones he did.
Or they didn't, or you don't want them to do nudity. He had So he went to Billy's Topless Bar looking
Yes.
for girls instead, and a short while later had several strippers signed on, each of them hired for specific degrees of nudity. SAG ended up making each of them a member.
That's hilarious.
So I guess Heather Hunter got her SAG card. Henenlotter used the fake title Frankenstein 90 in unofficial communications and on copies of the script for the sole purpose of avoiding trouble related to people's reactions to the actual title. It helped when they went looking for props, locations, and other necessities. And once the Frankenhooker creation is walking and talking, all of our lines are spoken by the prostitutes.
Yeah.
So that's what I got for trivia this week. Let's move on to the budget game.
They spent how much? The budget game.
Aaron, you ready to take a guess at the budget for 1990 Frankenhooker?
$205,000.
200. I didn't even need to get the music going for that. $205,000. You, my friend, are budget $2,500,000.
Oh, I must have read it wrong because I saw it on IMDb.
You still fucked it up.
I still fucked it up. You know what it is? I saw it and I was like, oh, I don't want to see that. I was trying to be good, you know? No, I got, that's box office. That's what I saw. Oh, no.
Well, I can't do that one now. Box office in U.S. and Canada, $205,000.
Damn it.
Oh. You want to take a guess at the box office worldwide?
$205,000? Yeah. I don't see it going anywhere else.
There you go. You got that one.
Woohoo! I can't believe I fucked it up. I saw it and I still fucked it up. $2 million.
$2.5 million.
$2.5 million for this movie. I don't.
Where'd the money go? Went to the super crack.
Well, if you're using real, we went to the super crack. That's
if
right.
You're using real crack, but
well, the way that crack worked, man, you probably save a lot of money. People staying up all day. The film's gonna get finished in record time.
It's gonna get finished quickly.
Right.
Now quality might go way down, but you're gonna make your deadline.
Right.
All right, let's move on to Mortal Kombat Combat.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Good versus bad, right versus wrong, light versus dark. In the end, when the dust settles, who will be left standing after Mortal Kombat Combat?
All right, here we go. There are 840 total reviews on Amazon. This is very one-sided this week. 80% are 5-star, with 3% 1-star.
Ooh, people love this movie.
So from S. Robertson, was never allowed to rent this way back in the day, so Amazon recommended it, and I bought it. Bad movie, but in a good way. If you're into low to very low budget horror, pretty campy as expected, dialogue is cringeworthy, but I'm assuming that was the point, as most 80s hack and slash productions. I would say this is on par with Street Trash.
Yeah.
I would compare it to Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but that one's actually 100% entertaining. But this... Buy this to irk your parents, bring it to their house, and play it for them on their anniversary because you're an adult and you can buy stuff now. That they banned you from as a blossoming teen. Take that, folks. 5 stars.
Someone's got an axe to grind.
Yeah, he does.
Man, when I was a teen, I meet the Feebles and shit. You know, it's like let's go to the video store. Mom doesn't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. From R. Leobo, it's a great movie, but not the how-to guide I was hoping for. Regardless, it's campy hilarity at its best. Time to go look for a new way to bring a dead hooker back to life. 5 stars. Amazon customer. If you're a med school dropout with a love for electrical repair, self-lobotomies, and making out with severed heads, this is a film for you. 5 stars. Christopher Duncan. The greatest family film of all time. Simply put, 5
Chris
stars.
Duncan.
Christopher Duncan.
Chris Duncan, yeah, former St. Louis Cardinal.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
From, I guess, the entire city of Pittsburgh, because just from Pittsburgh, writes in bold with an exclamation mark, purple colored areolas! 5 stars. That's moving on. Let's move on to 1 stars. This will go real quick, because most of them didn't write anything, and if they did, they were complaining about, oh, the movie wasn't in English, or you sent me the wrong copy, blah, blah, blah. From Barbara Keller, this movie is so stupid that it isn't worth the money, so I gave it to my ex-boyfriend, smiley face, 1 star.
Lucky guy.
Patrick W., this is the worst thing I've ever seen. People are giving it a pass because it's supposed to be so bad it's funny. No, I am sick of people giving movies like this a pass. No, it's 100% crap. Never watch it. Well, just don't.
What's that guy's name?
1 star. Patrick W.
Patrick W., go fuck yourself, man. Come on. It's Frankenhooker. Listen to the title, you dink. Jesus.
All right, so that brings us to our closing comments. Aaron, I think it's pretty obvious where you're going, but let's make it official. Aaron, where are you going?
This movie has a slightly special place in my heart. And
Obviously.
there's actually a reason for that. It's not just because it's fucking awesome and fun, which it is. It's when the very first time I spoke to my wife, I was working at Saturday Matinee. I was in college at the time, working at Saturday Matinee, and she came in with her boyfriend at the time. But, you know, he was looking around and she was looking around. She came up to me and goes, hey, I'm looking for Frankenhooker. And I'm like, and at the time, I've never heard of it. I'm just like, wow, I haven't heard of that one, but that one sounds pretty good. She goes, yeah, I'm also looking for Curse of the Queer Wolf. And I'm like, this girl's fucking awesome. You know, what is some weird-ass movies? I've never heard of either one of these. I'm like, you know what? I know we don't have them, but I will order them for you. So I made a special order for her to get Frankenhooker and Curse of the Queer Wolf. And that's the very...
Why haven't you told me about Curse of the Queer Wolf for this show?
Sorry.
We've had Gay Pride Month everywhere. Was that? Why have we not done that movie?
I don't know. I'm
we have
sorry.
to look that up now.
Yeah.
I'm putting that on the list.
But I ordered it for her. She came and picked it up. I was like, man, she's cute. We kind of flirted a little bit, but she was dating a guy, and I was, you know, doing my thing. But yeah, the very first time I spoke with her was in regards to Frankenhooker.
Oh.
Yeah. It'd be years later that I didn't talk to her for like a couple more years, you know. But yeah, kind of special little place in my heart. And of course, Marshall, it's so bad it's good. It's fucking fantastic. I mean, you have to go along for the ride with a movie called Frankenhooker by Troma. I mean, released by Troma. I mean, if you don't give it that leash that it needs, you're going to be weird like fucking Patrick W. or whatever his fucking name is. You'll be like that asshole. You don't want to be like that asshole. You want to enjoy life. You want to have a little bit of fun. You want to take these nuggets of silly, you know, movie history and have a little bit of good time with it. Bill Murray fucking likes the movie. That guy's awesome. So yeah, so bad it's good. Check it out.
I guess I'm just not living life then, man.
Oh my God, Marshall.
Because I'm kind of feeling what Patrick W.
Oh no! Unbelievable.
I don't get the hype. I get people, again, it's a cult classic, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I was disappointed. I think it's because this is the first time I've seen it, and I've heard so many people talking about it. I've heard you talk about it in the past. I'm like, oh, this movie's got to be fucking hilarious or great or some kind. I'm like, this is it. I guess I was just let down. Like the hype.
Yeah,
the hype got so built up for
I
me
can imagine
like,
that could happen sometimes. You know,
and so for me,
yeah.
I was like, this is kind of dull. Like there's some humor here, but there's some kind of just, this is just going nowhere. There's no fucking blood. There's no fun kills. I guess I expected more. I thought they'd be like Frankenhooker, like ripping dicks off or doing something, like there'd be more build up to it, or there'd be more time for her as Frankenhooker to do. She doesn't turn into Frankenhooker until an hour into the movie.
That is the one
one
gripe I kind of have with the movie.
And then she does. She kills 2 people back to back, but it's not like she's even doing it intentionally, really. They almost it just kind of happens.
Just sex with one, and
they just die. Yeah. Like she's not intentionally killing them. She's not going on a crazy rampage or like. and there's, like I said, the repetitive kills bring it down. The lack of blood brings it down. I don't know. I think just the overhype of this movie to me left me wanting more. And so for me, I was very disappointed in it. I didn't think it lived up to this hype that everybody talks about. So for me, I'm kind of saying so bad it's scary. But maybe it's because I'm coming at it from a different perspective. You have different memories of this.
Yeah.
But for a different perspective, I guess. But for me, I'm kind of saying so bad it's scary because it wasn't enough for me. I wanted more. I was expecting more. Like you said, a name like Frankenhooker, come on.
The expectations you had going into this were too high.
And then when you see trauma at the beginning, like, it's not a trauma, it's trauma release, but still I'm like, okay, there's going to be some disgustingness. There's going to be something raunchy, something over the top. And like, it really wasn't. It was kind of tame for it come on. I mean,
I don't know if I'd necessarily call it tame when you have a whole bunch of crack-smoking naked hookers exploding.
In one scene, yes. But I'm saying, and you have the platter of titties, but when you think of other films like Poultrygeist, there is some nasty, vile, disgusting, but still overly top fun.
The Toxic Avenger movies.
In those movies. And this one, I thought for sure Frankenhooker was going to be something, but it left me wanting more. And that, unfortunately, means I probably have to say so bad it's scary for me.
I'm not going to fight you on it. I hear you. I don't agree, but I understand where you're coming from on that one. Because we're balls deep in horror movies. I mean, we're part of the horror community, the horror culture. So we hear all this shit all the time. Yeah. And there's just too many goddamn movies to see. So when you hear about people hyping up a particular movie, like a Frankenhooker, and you're like, I haven't seen it, I'm going to save it, I'm going to see it. And then people are still talking, well, why haven't you seen it? Okay, fine, fucking watch it. And it just doesn't have the same punch that you're expecting. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. So when I saw it, I was like, I heard, Melissa talking about it, and I was like, I might as well check it out. And I'm like, this is hilarious. This is great. Because I didn't have.
But also, how old were you when you first saw it? You're in your teens. Then, right?
I was in my
I was in my
early 20s. Early 20s.
But again, almost 20 years ago.
Correct.
So our mindsets and our very different back then. So when you first see it, like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And you probably, at that time, like I said, until Melissa asked for it, you've never heard of it either.
No, I haven't.
So you didn't have all that build-up in your head.
I heard it from a girl at the store.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I might as well check this out.
Yeah, and now, for me, I had you talking about it all the time. I have, Paul, people suggesting. I remember a couple years ago, people on Facebook talking about this all the time when you posted something about Frankenhooker. Like, oh, that movie's so great. So, like, and on social media, internet, it's just boom, 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 boom. And then when I finally see it, I'm like, what's the hype about? It was a big letdown for me. So I wanted to like it. I had way more fun laughing about with you on this episode. I had so much fun with, but the movie itself, I don't know if I'd watch it again. I watched it twice this week. Yep. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again.
The movie does move kind of it's weird. It's oddly paced.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily slow, because the scenes move the story along, but at the end of the day, it's the girl gets killed, the Frankenstein scientist, essentially Frankenstein for scientist, goes and gets body parts, puts her back together. She goes on a rampage. There's not a lot of plot pieces.
Mm-mm.
They just focus on each one. There's only like 5, really, when you think about it. She gets killed, boom, that's one.
There's a lot of scenes they could have shortened a lot.
Yes.
If they would have shortened some of these scenes and then extended her rampage as a Frankenhooker, then maybe it would have been better. But I don't need a 10-minute scene of him sitting at the dinner table with her severed head. I don't need a 5-minute montage of him going through body parts. I don't need another 5 minutes of him walking around the streets of New York looking for her. You establish it real quick and you move on.
Yeah.
I don't, there's so much of that they could have put time elsewhere to, I think, maybe make it better.
I agree. I can see that point. Yeah, I get you. Because there were scenes I just like, this is going on. Even the exploding hooker scene
goes on a long time.
It's still fun because there's a lot of hookers blowing up and titties are flying, and there's a leg that flies across the room and stuff, and it is a bloody stump of a leg.
There's a bloody stump, which is weird because there's no blood anywhere else. And anyway, but so you can see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and I get it, but honestly, I just have a soft spot in the heart for this movie, and I love this movie. I think it's great.
We're split this week for very different reasons.
Now, really quick before we wrap it up, the actress who played Frankenhooker.
Yes, right. You have something you want to say about
what's her name again?
Patty Mullen.
Patty Mullen. What a loss to the horror community that she only did 2 horror movies, both of which we've featured on the show, Doom Asylum and now Frankenhooker, because I feel like she could have been another B-level scream queen like a Leanna Quigley or a Brinky Stevens. She had all the chops. She was cute. She was in shape. She was willing to get naked. You know, I mean, these are all qualities you want in your B-level scream queens.
Exactly.
And she seemed pretty decent actress. Honestly, like, her performance was good. You even commented on it. Even when she was walking around as Frankenhooker, was fucking nailing it. She did pretty darn good for what she had.
Yep.
And even her scenes when she was Elizabeth, you know, pre-Frankenhooker, you know, she was believable. She was giving hugs to her boyfriend. She was a pretty decent actress. And also in Doom Asylum, she played 2 different roles, you know, pretty well. I really am bummed out that she didn't continue acting. I wonder what. I don't know what happened.
Well,
I'm kind of curious. Yeah.
She was also. She was in 1986, in the month of August. She was the Penthouse Magazine Pet of the Month.
Atta girl.
And in 1988, she was the Penthouse Magazine Pet of the Year.
Ooh, wow.
But yeah. So here's her only other acting job in between Doom Asylum and Frankenhooker was one episode of the Equalizer TV show, where she made one appearance on an episode called Heart of Justice in 1989.
Yeah, I mean, she could have been a fucking extra.
Her fourth credit is actually saying in pre-production, so it's still working on it. It's called Strange Toys, where she's doing the voice of Daisy Dowell. So I don't know if this is going to be a horror movie or what, but it's in pre-production listed right now on IMDb.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on with that. And let's, but otherwise, yeah. And let's see. I'm skimming through her bio record.
Yeah, I wonder if she got married or found religion or what, because it seemed like she was prime for a B-level scream queen type of gal, you know.
She lives in Florida with 2 daughters, so it's not like she, you know, passed away suddenly.
Right.
Apparently was a judge on Clash of Champions, the wrestling pay-per-view. She was a judge on there for something, Clash of Champions back in the WCW days.
Weird.
But yeah, it doesn't really say anything about why, you know, actress and model, regrettably short-lived career. Yeah, so it doesn't say anything about why she left.
I'm really curious, because it is...
As of May 2009, she had left the film industry and is living in Florida. So, but...
It's a stone cold bummer, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Like, because, like I said, acting-wise, given the material, she was fine for the most part. Like I said, I did get really tired of the over physicality of the facial expression, all the twitching.
But I'm sure that's the direction they wanted her to go in, you know, which I liked. I thought it was funny.
But she did fine. And I think she was actually better in this than I remember in Doom Asylum. Doom Asylum, I thought that character was pretty bad.
Well, Cynthia Nixon, you know, who is this, you know, Charlotte from Sex and City.
Yeah,
she was fucking horrible in that movie too.
Yeah,
you know, but I mean, I think.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I really think she was. I think
it's a shame.
She could have been a great scream queen. I think.
Yeah,
I think she could have been a really good scream queen.
It's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
And if Moon Goons, if you guys know what happened, well, let us know, because we're really curious.
We can probably try to track it down somehow.
Oh, I bet you people have already tried.
I'm sure,
you know,
but I mean, she's doing something of voices. Yeah. She's back into doing something. You can probably track her down and find her. Anyway, all right, we're gonna wrap this up this week. That was Frankenhooker. So, I mean, guys, thanks for listening. If you support the show, check out manscaped.com. Using promo code MoonGoon, that helps support the show. Or you can join our Patreon page. That helps as well. Just keep listening.
Or just send us money directly.
Yeah. Spread the word. Keep spreading.
Thanks for listening. Yep. Tell people, that Horrible Horror is a badass podcast.
Yep. We love you guys. Love you all. So take care. In the meantime, till we're back next, you know what to do. Watch more horror movies. And remember to always keep it tight.
Want a date?